Nothing? Oh, there we go. Wait. There we go. 12 seconds. I'll remember that next time. Welcome to episode 35 or 6 of Drawing Blood. With me as always is Bob to my right, and we got Cody again, all the way from hurricane-bound Florida. This is Drawing Blood. It's kind of an inside look at our traditionally animated video game, #Blood, which is a top-down adventure, very much in the spirit of Zelda, with some Cartoon Network flair from our childhoods that we hold dear. Let me finish. I'm right at the middle of something, so let me kind of recap what we did last week. So, those of you who joined us last week might remember this little rat that we worked on. Well, he's a big rat compared to Becky, but he's a rat nonetheless. And we started kind of setting up this mini-boss kind of character. I'm starting the attack right now, but I'll show you what I did last week. We did an idol here, and I kind of, I animated this in the Twitch stream, and then I kind of tweaked it a little bit because I wasn't really happy with some of the art. So, I did a little bit more. I added a blink, and I added some secondary, so I got that guy going. It's an idol. Looking menacing, hopefully. This one we did a couple weeks ago when it just him scared. And this is when he burrows away to kind of start to attack. So not a lot done last week, and we haven't had a lot of chance to continue on that. But now we're going to start working on attack, and you see when he goes underground, then he can kind of sprout up, and come grab Becky. So I'm working kind of on the aftermath of the bite right now, which is, right now it's just a giant ease out. You can see from there to there. We're going to stagger it, make it look pretty, have him clasp on with the jaws, and we're also going to try to do something where, so he just doesn't pop out of nowhere, we're going to have like a little indicator to prove that he's going to like kind of antic before the attack, so we're not going for those cheap kill kind of things. So let's finish the settle on this. We'll stagger it, and then get to moving on the antic. Alright, so right now I'm just in between the very last one. I just started this about 20 minutes ago, so maybe a little longer. We had lunch in between, and it's been a very, very long week for, I think, all three of us on this, for different reasons. You see, Cody does stuff and he gets paid, where me and Bob do things 3 times and they get paid once, so it's a little different. Just a bit. So, yeah. At the end of the week, though, I just worry all weekend.
But do you have lizards?
No, not up north. Not up north. We just have the people of Riverhead to contend with. Alright. So I always go into around 200 brush 5 for the bigger characters. Oh! Lauren, always here. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. How you doing? Do you have a release date for the game? Alright, mark your calendars. 2030, August. No, we really don't have. We're so far away from finishing. So right now we're kind of just working on a demo. We hope to have a playable level. We have a playable demo now, so I should start for that. But we want a full level early 2020. But the real test for us is to get it level ready for MagFest, which is this kind of indie game dev. Video game, comic book. It's a little bit of all pop culture kind of rolled into one. And there's an indie dev section where, we hope to go there and show off that. So if you're in Baltimore, what dates are those, Cody? Or is it even...
I think it's starts on the 2nd of January.
Okay, so if you want to start the new year right, come visit us. I implore all you to do that. And Cody and I are also going to Spain come October 3rd. To talk about Blood and animation and video games and all sorts of things. Mostly centered around blood. And Cody, we need that photo of you. Get.
Or we're just
I
gonna
know.
send this
We're just
It'll work.
Oh,
It'll get the job done.
that is a good joke. Alright. So this is a big character for us. We usually zoom into 400. This is at 200. If the in-betweens aren't too close together, which they aren't right now, I can usually get away with a thinner brush, and that's what I'm kind of doing right now. And we also get a lot of questions about where we hope to release blood, and we don't really have a lot of plans for that right now. Cody, what do you like? The goal always sort of was Switch. I think that blood would play nicely in that. But what, Cody, want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, I think we're big console gamers, so we're definitely interested in getting as many clips as we can. Obviously, as we get closer to release, a lot of talks will happen, and we'll see exactly what happens. I don't want to say we're coming up for a certain console because that might not be true, but we definitely have our sights set on consoles in general.
The more the better, in my opinion.
As well as, I don't, unless someone's going to offer us a nice exclusive deal, we have no reason to favor one over the other.
Oh, that Mr. Fox. It's the first time catching us live. How you doing? Bob, is that one of your relatives?
No,
Mr. Fox? Bob's last name is Fox. Oh, well, thanks, I'm glad you caught us live, though. Feel free to ask any questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. Yeah, we usually post these on YouTube afterwards, or the following week. Not a big YouTube audience, so whenever we get a chance. Alright, so I also have the arm up here that I have to on a different layer. But I wanted to get the torso kind of finished first. Yeah, so it's been a crazy week. That's why we try to do 2 of these every 2 weeks, and we missed the last 2 weeks. It's just been so insane. It's been so stressful for us. Why do you redraw the dirt to give staggery feel? Well, I did animate the dirt a little bit. If it was gonna be still, I wouldn't trace back, but he kind of pops out, and the dirt is sort of like a part of the character, I figure. So, like, when he settles down and we stagger, it will feel a little more violent when he bites. So I'm thinking that might help us. But no, I probably to your point, I don't need to be returning anything. We have enough on our plate. All right. Let's see how fast I can color. You ever do this? Anyone who does this for a living try to beat your old beat your own record? It's like when you stab your knife. Yeah. The way less dangerous game of what is that called? 5-finger fillet or something.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I never knew the name of that. That sounds about right. I remember my dad calling it that.
I've definitely never.
You know when people take a knife and just
I know what you're talking
It
about.
might be around here because of fishing.
Oh, that's a fishing thing? I've seen it in movies, though, a lot. Like 80s movies. When they wanted to show a tough bar, it was always someone in there doing that.
Man, there's a lot of names for that.
Is it
a knight?
I thought it was like there's a Russian, or a Russian version of it, too.
Oh, they do call it Bishop, which is probably from Alien.
That's what
Oh.
Right? Oh, yeah.
he can do it really fast.
Stab. They say it's stab scotch, like hopscotch,
Okay, yeah.
but for stabbing.
There's no winners, and I love games with no winners. It's like the only thing you get is not stabbed if you do it right. Things like that.
Well, not really, because you're supposed to keep going and speeding up as fast as you can. So I don't even know when you're
until you stab yourself. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to do the arm last, actually, because I had to get him out and I had to figure out what he's doing. But now I can stagger. So what I did was do some secondary on the ears here. You can see they kind of flop up. So we won't stagger that because that'll look a little weird, but anything from that, I think we can shift over, make it look a little more violent. So that, yeah, that feels a little better. And then we can always settle a little longer on twos. And we'll just do the last one on twos. Alright, so we got that. Gonna move these frames over. Now we have to get, because he just pops up here, so we have to think about what we're gonna do about how he's gonna pop out. So I'm gonna, because his mouth is so small here, this little silhouette here, his mouth, I'm gonna want to start pretty wide, I think. So maybe like, kind of like his teeth are gonna snap like that. Bend it like that. Since he's popping out the dirt, his eyes will just go back here. So this will be the first frame, and then it'll tap like that. So it's gonna be a quick smear frame, and I love doing these things. I love going off model, and animation has been really doubling down on models and stuff. And I personally don't like. The point is we can draw anything. Why are we sticking to things that don't have to? I might be projecting a little. So let's get the dirt in there, and then of course my second favorite thing, other than going off model, is adding debris to cover up any inconsistencies I have, which are fruitful.
Which is able.
Which are able. Let's get the eyebrows in. So you see here. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. And if you look to my point with models, you see his head here, the one I just double clicked. It's a pretty big head, honestly. But then look at the size of it here. And I'm not worried about that. I'm trying to give the audience enough credit to be like, well, that's the same character, just in a cartoony fashion. I think the audience appreciates that when you don't baby them. And I feel the same way about kids shows too. I think we baby them too much. It's not helping anyone. Alright. Let's clean this up a little more. This might be a rant-heavy episode because I am up till 2. I was up till 2 last night when I didn't have to be. Alright.
Yeah, about an hour before the stream, I was like, are they really going to be in the right mindset to be streaming today?
If we waited for that, though, we would have... How many episodes would we have? The episode 11.
That's being very generous.
Alright, let's clean this up. Have to get dirt rounds too. Is this... Is that the first frame? Did I erase the first frame? No. No. Yeah, it's been a trying... if I'm being honest, it's been a trying year for us. I don't know if it's any other freelance animators, or has it been hard for everyone else, or are we doing something wrong? I'd like to know everyone's input. LA seems to have its act together a little bit, and you see, I'm tired. I'm not making any sense. I'm not making any sense. I'm tired. Alright. Lauren's from LA. Maybe she could tell us she's in the game scene, though, which I think... I find some parallels in between. I don't know how you guys do client work, then work on the game, and then muster the energy to stream on top of that. Actually, it's funny. That's a good sort of point.
Audio seems quiet today.
Oh, the audio. You want to turn it up? Sorry about that.
You know what? It might
Tin Heart. Oh, you should join us,
No,
Tin
it's
Heart.
fine.
Oh.
You want to turn up.
Is that how you do it? Hold on, Bob's gonna. Okay, let me. Yeah. Actually, that Mr. Fox, the streams actually energize me. I look forward to every Friday because I get the chance to work on it. So it sort of fuels my need to work harder on the other things so I have time to work on our game. I really do enjoy working on Blood. It's a true passion project. And we've been doing it over a year now. And, you know, I get... if client work you can get burned out pretty quick on, but not with Blood yet, so I'm hoping that stays that way. And I like doing these streams, it's fun. I like talking to like-minded people about animation and the industry, so it's a nice break from client work, honestly. But it is exhausting doing everything. And I think the biggest thing Bob and I have been struggling with is we feel like we're not getting any of our client work done. I feel like not on, you know, we would consider it done, but I don't know how the animation scene in the LA is normally, but I've been struggling to break in over them. So you're trying to, Lauren, you're trying to go into the animation scene and leave the gaming scene, or kind of balance both? I mean, from the looks of your animation, I don't think you should have much of a problem. Because
Well, doesn't anybody actually animate now?
well, no, yeah, there's a lot of pre-production going on in LA. Leave games and animation, really? You want to switch? let's trade off.
It's like
We'll work in the gaming industry. I'll hand over our clients. I could show you our email list, and you might change your tune pretty quick. Let's get a little bit of back of the throat here. All right, let's see how quick we want this. I'm thinking like, do I have Becky here? Did I lose her? Dang it. I'll have to play with some kind of moving around the symbols to see how fast this guy should come out. But I feel like this is a pretty good speed. Maybe 1 frame lower. Make it real quick. Let's try it this way. Alright. So the jaw starts like this and ends up like that. So what I'm gonna do here is do a lot of like, I want the jaw to feel kind of floppy almost. So like this part of the jaw is gonna come up quicker, while this is gonna kind of linger a little bit, like these edges here. So what I'll do is sort of go like that. Drag on the nose. That'll make the snap feel all that much more powerful. It's like that Venn diagram, creative, yeah, making high salary. I would take one of those. Reasonable hours might be my first one. No, it's.
Yeah, I think you only get to pick like
I
one
don't.
of those.
I didn't get a choice. Mine was the antithesis of all three.
It really is.
I don't get any of that.
them.
What am I doing? Okay,
I'm at least getting,
getting,
one of them, I
yeah.
feel like, but
you get the pay and the respect. No,
I
no
don't think I get
respect.
that.
No respect.
Not from us, that's for
Yeah, definitely not.
All right, so we're gonna follow a contour here. Now, I really would, over anything now, choose reasonable hours so we could work on Blood every day, and maybe I could watch my kids grow up. Maybe that would be that would be fun. Instead of
I
Instead
don't
of
need
coming
that.
home exhausted every night, just ready for sleep.
So you cut the thing out now?
I cut that out, yeah.
I'll just stop.
I just for the reasons we explained earlier, that it would be. I added more time to it, so it's 20 seconds now, though. So.
Oh, okay.
Give him something else to say about it. Alright, so we got this cool little snapping motion here. I think that's gonna work. Yeah, that feels pretty violent. A lot of blood, I feel like, is balancing the cute. I don't want it too cutesy and I don't want it too horrific. And we're kind of strike a balance where we have cute characters next to horrific looking things. So you see here, I also smeared the eyes too to give it a little bit of motion blur. There's 5, 200. Let's clean this bad boy up. Uh-oh. Sirens. Here we go. Greg, you're gonna wish the sound was low again. Oh, and guys, everyone who has got to play the game and seen the writing and stuff, Tin Heart Interactive on the stream he was talking earlier, that's our writer. He's been completely amazing writing all the stuff, all the dialogue, coming up with new ideas for us. I feel very lucky to be part of such a creative team. So, and those of you who haven't got to play the game yet, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with Greg's wit. All right, so you see, I kind of
So much.
See, I'm not mean to everyone. Just myself and Cody. All right.
Oh, Bob Lauren is asking what you use to make music.
Oh,
Logic Pro?
Programs.
Logic Pro X?
Logic Pro X, is that what it's called? We used to use a thing called Fruity Loops.
We did.
Oh, wow, that was early. When did you stop using that? When we had to?
No, I forget why. I was on the Mac and wanted to try it.
Oh, it was on that thing. Is he in today? Yes. Bob is right. He's working on something, not for the game. We're balancing might be balancing a little more than we should be, yes. I have that old drawing, Bob, and the other one, in that version of it. If you're looking for reference, but that's pretty useless at this point. That's, yeah, well. Alright. So let's see, do we want it quick? A little quick like that? Just one more frame?
Rendered today.
It's not rendering?
No, I just was trying to find the one that the hell you did today.
The,
I'm tired.
the one I did today?
Yeah, what did you render today?
It's in the PNG sequence.
No,
oh,
what did you
the
render?
file?
Yeah.
I made a layout folder on the bottom there.
Oh, okay.
That drawing's not in there though.
Okay, no, I just wanted to. So we're not gonna go into that.
We could. I'm sure it'll be brought up, but you know that for the reasons I explained earlier when we could talk about it. So is this rat king coming through the ground or a regular rat minion? This rat king's coming through the ground, Andrew. So you better get your programming fingers ready. I want to hear typing like Cody. No, he's gonna burrow into the ground, and then you're gonna kind of. I don't know how we're gonna show where we know he is under the ground, unless we make like a little dirt disappearing kind of thing. Cody, you know what I'm talking about? To kind of show a trail. That could be kind of cool, I think.
Oh, I think Andrew was asking if that was
Oh,
the
this is the
Rat
Rat King, yes.
Just a
yes.
regular.
Just the Rat King. What are your thoughts on unpaid internships? They vary. It depends what company you're working for. Like if it's a reputable company and they're giving you school credit, and then they're less likely to take advantage of you. There's ones that are just looking for free labor. I'm not a friend. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And then there's everywhere in between where they're gonna lean on you a little harder than they probably should, but you get something out of it. So it depends on the place you're kind of interning at. The bigger studios have great internship programs, and they credit you to school and stuff, and you can quantify that with money because what does a school credit cost you, and what do you get out of it? And I think most companies are likely to hire interns that are familiar with the system rather than kind of a cold hire if you didn't. So, in a nutshell, they're pretty useful, and they teach you a lot more they than you would think. They're kind of replacing what the schools should be doing, which is showing how the industry works. Not making a film is great, and I think everyone should make a film to see how hard it is. But if you can't apply that to the practical parts of the industry, then all you have is a film and no knowledge of it. So that's my take.
Like anybody in the industry, including producers and directors.
I think everyone. I always.
Required to make a film before they.
I think that's a great idea. Honestly, I think it would balance everything out a little bit. I believe because you would instantly know how hard everyone has it or how easy everyone has it, or you would just sort of put yourself in someone's shoes. Because every day we're questioned on how we would do stuff or what stuff's costs and all that stuff. And I think if you put yourself in that, you could kind of realize where the money's going, where your time's going, I guess, too, and all that in between. But when I worked over at Augenblick Studios, which is a Brooklyn studio, pretty big size too, and employs anywhere from 30 to 60 people depending on the project. He had a great internship program. He being Aaron, the owner of the studio, and I watched firsthand as he took interns, taught them the system that we were working in, and then hire them right from there. And in turn, no pun intended, they learned how we were doing things, and it wasn't what you think of intern work. It's like, go get me a coffee, kid. It wasn't any of that. It was very much like assistant animators or assistant background people or cleanup and all that stuff. So it was a nice little kind of interlude into figuring out what you would even want to do in the industry. I like the way he ran business was very practical and smart, and I see ourselves, Bob and I, kind of applying sort of the same strategies that he was using. Alright, so we can color this. So we're gonna have to get that arm in here now. And of course we, like every animation, we need kind of he can't just stay here, so we have to suck back into. Alright, so let's get rid of that one. Alright, so snap. Then we're gonna add some drool or blood or something coming out of him. Let's follow the contour of his tongue so we don't lose that. Alright, let's see. The teeth are this color. The color of his eyes. Blood red. Whoops, I must have been in the wrong layer. Alright, I'm gonna do the tongue the same color as his nose. And that's as much thought as I put into color, everyone. I'm very much, once it works, I'm kinda, I retire that idea. Not a lot of thought. Bam. So let's get the arm in here. So the arm ends up over there, so I'm gonna have him kind of lift up and then slam his arms down. So the first frame, let's just rough something out before I go crazy. It could be him shooting it up like that. Go up to here. Then slam it down. So I think we'll have to do it even small. Do it bigger. Something like that. See if that even works. I might even get rid of the arm. It doesn't look like he really needs it, honestly. So make that blue, just so I can see. See if that works. Yeah. You know, it kind of I feel like it takes away from the violence a little bit because it settles so slow. Yeah, we could always add it in later. That's fine. Perfect. Alright, so now we got that. We can add some spit or something when he closes his mouth, and I'm going to have to double click for that. So let's see. He's closing his mouth like that, so the drool is going to sort of start over here, I think. From over here, too. It's going to kind of flop up. Affects you, I think you benefit from kind of just roughing straight ahead. So you can start seeing the arc almost in real time. Slowly start falling down. And like everything we do, it just disappears, so we don't have to worry about it being a constant sprite. So that could even go a little quicker, I think. And then what I'll do is kind of retrofit it. Then you get something like that. So Becky's walking by. Should his vulnerable spot after the jump? Oh, good point, good point. So the rat king coming through the ground. Okay. That's a good point. I can do an idle here, and you can kind of hit him while he's. Maybe I'll do that, Andrew. That's a good idea. So, if Becky dodges him, we'll do kind of an ease in, ease out idle from this point right here, that end point, and we can extend that as long as we want, and then we can suck him back in if you miss him. That's why Andrew's getting the big bucks. He's thinking about programming this already. Cody, you're next.
I'm not even listening to you guys right now.
Join the. That's a long line that's not listening to me, so you have to get to the back. Alright. Let's do Cody, you better start programming. Andrew and Cody were actually talking about a game plan to get things started, because we have a lot of assets now that are ready to be grace the Unity spectrum. So what I'm gonna do after this is make a symbol inside this one. That'll just kind of be the idle. You guys see me do idols so many times. I'm just gonna make that a symbol for now. We'll get it in later. You don't need to watch me ease in, ease out. That's boring. And then from there, I'm gonna work on him getting kind of going back in the ground. So we'll have sort of a sprite embedded in a sprite. So we can just... So let's see here. Let's see if that looks right.
I need my 18th coffee today.
I hear you, man. Alright, so let's in between those so they're all on the same chart. We can do this freehand. No roughs here. Let's see here, so that kind of breaks off there.
About that weekly time we get a landlord call about something.
Yep, no, the landlord's gonna try to rent out the safe in our room for...
Cowboy.
Oh, there's no cream? I forgot about that. Sorry. My
I'm
fault.
just gonna splash it on my face to wake up.
I'm just gonna take a hot cup of coffee and splash it on my face. Alright, so this is an ease out on this one because it's at a tie point here. Kind of has to hover in the air a little bit. Alright, let's see if I did it justice. Oh, I messed up. See, it goes back up here.
You messed
Oh
up.
boy. Burnsy, Burnsy, Burnsy. See if we can fix it. Won't be the first time. Now it stays up there too long, so we're gonna... There we go. Could use a little finesse, but that's fine for now. Alright, we're gonna make it the color of his teeth. Look like blood or drool or whatever you call it.
What's it? Are they even making? Is baseball even still on?
Oh.
People watching? No.
Or they could just go into quick suspension and there's a vulner. We could do that. We do have to make him vulnerable at one point though. And typically our characters, usually right after an attack, would be a good time to have him vulnerable. And then we could do a hit animation from this too. And then what would be nice about that is once the hit goes in, then we can use him getting sucked back in too. Kind of the maximizer use of sprites here. But I could also have him like outside, like maybe when he's outside he could be hit. I doubt we'll get to any of this during the switch, so we do have time for it. Here we go. You know it's Friday. If I ever wake up from a coma and hear that, I'll be like, oh, it's Friday. What would be the ideal situation for you? You'd like to see for Exit 73 5 years from now? I would like to kind of parlay some of our efforts into hopefully making more games or continuing on Blood. Maybe finishing Blood. Could be a good 5-year plan. I get more satisfaction out of kind of working on games than this kind of stuff, and maybe more of an like a little more independent from client work. I think I'd really enjoy. I don't think Bob does either, but we don't have like grand aspirations to be like this giant, like a Pixar or anything. I don't, you know, I think the bigger you get with that, you lose something with that. And I personally like animating and I like drawing and stuff, and the bigger you get, the less of that you do. I always think of ourselves as kind of like a garage band. Like us being very independent and a little rough around the edges.
And one of us actually works in a garage.
And Cody works in a garage, so how apropos. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is make this the idol so Becky can hit him. It will give him like a second window to hit him. Okay, ground idol, I'll call that. We'll worry about doing that. That'll just be kind of the typical things I do. It's the exact same chart as this idol. You know, ease in, ease out. It'll be about a second long. So, not a lot of, you know, nothing really too exciting to watch someone animate. Alright, so now I'm going to have him suck back into the dirt. What I probably can do is use these last bits, like this right here, this from here on, to get him back in. So we're going to use this frame here. This is the last frame where you don't see him. So idle for a second. Then we'll have that. Then he'll disappear. So we have to get him to sort of that frame here. So I love doing antics. I think that's something a lot of traditional animation people like to do too. You see less and less of it too. So he's gonna go in to the ground really quick. So what I'll do is antic up kind of slow, like he'll ease in, then ease out to go right back in, and it'll kind of it'll make the move look a little faster, even though it's technically slower, but it'll give it a little more oomph. Would you want any more employees underneath? I have no, I do. I have a dream team in mind, and some of them have graced our Twitches before. My dream team was always Chet, our friend Chet. He's one of the best, just roundabout animators. You could give him anything, and he can animate it, and he animates it quick. There's just no... You could give him literally anything, and it'll come back beautiful. He's quick, and he doesn't complain, and he really busts his hump. And the idea that no one knows who he is really, you know, it ticks me off, because it's like, why is no one using Chet to his potential? I worked with this. This is all Augen Blick alumni. Barbara Bennis. We've worked with her in the past. Actually, hired her a few times. Perfect character animator. Again, same thing. Works hard. I don't know why she doesn't get enough credit either. And we've always Bob and I worked with our friend Chris Conforti a lot. So I have always had this kind of idea for 5-6 employees. On the practical ends of things, we have only room for 3 or 4 people here. We're way in the boonies, way eastern Long Island, and they're all city-bound people. I think Barbara's in Chicago now anyway. And then, of course, paying them right, which would be the hardest part. But I don't know how people... I don't know how people do 60, like, when you have 60 employees. Like, you just think about what the salary would be for a week of 60 employees, and, you know, we're talking 6 figures of... So, I don't know. Maybe we're getting the wrong jobs, but we've never been offered that much to hire that many people. So he's going to kind of arc up here. So we'll get the dirt really high up here. No, but the idea of 5 or 6, I feel like I could keep 5 or 6 employees busy and just focus on animation still. But it's never really come together. And let's see, then just the nose coming down here. So it goes. And you see, that's just sort of the premise here. And we can go directly from a hit to this, and I don't think anyone will think of it as that much different. Hey, how's it going? Rubens Hall. How's it going? Thanks for joining us. All right. We lost Cody? He jumped off? Oh, the humanity.
What was that? Oh no, that was
from
Fantasy.
Turbo
Right?
Fantasy, my favorite. Do you guys know Turbo Fantasy?
Everybody's gotta watch it.
You gotta watch Turbo Fantasy. It was on Mondo now. It's still on Mondo?
Yeah, then they had some other.
They were on something else.
I don't know where the guy's from.
Is he from like
He's been
New
doing
Zealand or something?
Yeah, he's really funny.
Yeah, check out Turbo Fantasy. It's a real kind of off-brand humor, but it's hilarious. I did see we did see the Shaq thing. I don't know if we called it post controversy though, because he seemed to change the price, but I heard he was asking comically low prices for animation. You know, it's that old adage, like exposure means something, and I think like he says something at the end like, "Hey animators, I'm about to make you famous," like that, like that'll do anything for anyone.
Yeah. As famous as Shaq.
Looking at a few simple animations mixing 2D with 3D. Oh, nice. Oh, is that the Shaq thing?
No, this is
Oh, the F.
No.
Is that what you?
SWAT hats. What's his name?
Oh, that's
David Ferguson. That's his name. He's really funny.
Yeah, you guys should check that out though. It's hilarious.
What is Twitter?
It's right. It's like our brand of humor too.
He's really one of the funniest.
And I think it looks brilliant too. Like it's this real
New season he
lo-fi
did, I
look.
guess, what was it on VRV or?
VRV, that sounds right. But
Yeah,
everything
they had,
does.
Mondo had like a channel on there that he did like a whole new season.
No, that was. How did we even find that? Were we just looking on Mondo?
We were going on Mondo for
Oh.
Transfire.
Oh, well.
And I was like, what is this? And then I left.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
All right, how many teeth do I got here? Let's start with that. All right, so we got them up. And then down here, we got his nose in the ground. And we can add debris to that. I don't even know what it's about. I just saw.
Getting so angry. I just don't do it. I don't know.
No, everyone was pretty upset about
Don't
it.
animate it if it's too little, or like it was for free anyways.
And it's a contest, though, right? That's the.
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
the
I didn't
premise.
really. I guess I didn't understand the whole gist of it.
No, no. It is funny. There's this thing that happens in animation. I think I think it's a few things, but I think people look at it. It's like, oh, it's a hobby, so people that you ask to do when people ask you to do it for free. I don't take a lot of offense to it because I think they just think it's like, oh, that's what you would do anyway. But there is that kind of thing happening where because we all study it and we all like it, that the perception is we should do it for free, but it's it's kind of universal too. It's weird. I'm sure there's other professions like that too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I only know animation. That's all I know.
Imagine like cooking and
Yeah,
restaurants.
cooking or like I'm sure like tattoo artists get that a lot. It's like you
Yeah.
like doing what you're doing and you got the tattoo gun. It's just like, yeah, but you have to pay for my time. I just don't know that world. No, any kind of artistry, I feel like, probably gets a little bit of that. Alright, so we got the nose in here. And you can see when we start working on a lot of these sprites, you noticed how I grabbed like something from an old sprite and stuff. It's like, the more sprites you do, the more you get to grab from stuff. I'm not such a hardline animation guy that it's like I'll use stuff over and over. You know, in the context of everything happening in a game, I don't think you'll even notice. And if you do, I don't think that's a bad thing either. But no, I always been fascinated with like kind of library, like building a library out, and that's why part of gaming is interesting when I think of it that way too. And it's like all of a sudden, you know, on a long enough timeline, you have enough animation that you can tell a story with just the assets you're using. I have no idea the amount of work that goes into animating something. A lot of stuff, you know, it's a lot of time. I mean, well, you see there's 51 minutes on this thing that we started going, and I didn't get that many seconds of animation done. So, you know, what goes into a feature would be incredibly, you know, daunting. Alright, so let's get him in. Here, so we're gonna just probably get the tail of the nose in. Really stretch out the nose now. Did you send that along, Bob? Okay. Here we go. Get that in there. Alright, so that's quick and fun. Let's color that one. And what I'm going to do here is he's going to kind of hover in this spot, so like I'm going to have the nose start coming up, so he's going to like pause, then go down. Just to play with the arc of timing. I should mention next week I won't be streaming live. I'll be on a family vacation with, and when I say family, I mean the whole kit and caboodle. My parents, my sister, her kids, wives, husbands, my mom and dad. It's a crowded, manic house, and we got every age from my latest nephew is 3 weeks old to my 4-year-old, and we have a 2, 3, 4-year-old and a newborn. So I don't know if I could even call that vacation. What would you call it?
Hell. I guess it's your fan. It would be like
no, I feel for my wife and my sister's husband, because it's just like yeah. But my sister's been married for 10 years. My wife and I have been married for 7 or 6. So we've been doing this every year. And personally, I'm looking forward to it. Though because we have so much work, we bought a portable Cintiq. So maybe I can stream live. I don't know.
Oh yeah, an hour I could do the background.
I think Bob was gonna come in next Friday and show the background side of things. I think that'll be fun for her. So he's gonna hover in the air a little bit, so the eyes are actually gonna rest up here. Eyebrows gonna come back up. Ears. The nose is gonna kind of buckle up that way. Oh, and look who's back. Okay, everyone, stop making fun of Cody again.
Ah. You guys were talking about swap hats.
Oh yeah,
Swap hats.
our favorite. That's like one of our favorite gems. I feel like.
What did you just say?
Oh.
No, what's it called?
Turbo?
Turbo Fantasy.
Turbo
That's
Fantasy.
me.
He was doing. Cody, what's this? The PlayStation 4 like Dreamland or like
Yeah, it works.
an app where you can make stuff in or game?
Dreams?
Games or something? Because
You talking about Dreams?
yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Or Dream? Dreams is by the Little Big Planet.
Yes, that must be it.
Yeah, Media Molecule. That's like people are making games within the game. It's kind of like what they wanted to do with Little Big Planet. I think.
Because I saw. I think
How did they let you do that?
It's just like a giant sandbox, kind of like Minecraft and all those other things like that.
And then anyone could play any level?
I think so, yeah.
that's-
Because I
That
saw
has to
the
be,
Turbo Fantasy guy made. He was making cartoons in it.
Oh, was he? That's
I
awesome.
think that's what he was using. Alright,
That's amazing. So it wasn't. It was just.
Yeah, people do.
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
So you could just watch it. It's not like a game. You just watch. That's incredible. That's really cool.
Yeah, animator. Yeah, no, he was on Polygon actually. That's where I saw him.
What a time we live in. It's just so crazy, right? Like who could have predicted when we were graduating? Like he could have been. You could watch a cartoon on that. You know. Wild.
He made, like, a whole cartoon in the-
That's really cool.
So, is it a game?
Or is it a game or just sort of
I
like
believe
an
so.
experience?
How come I never even heard anything about it?
There's so much out there now. I feel like you can't. It's hard to keep track of stuff. I feel like. Let's get that up there. Gonna move that up. No, there's so like. I mean, maybe we were just savvy to it because of the Edge magazine stuff, but that crank thing, like that kind of came and went too, right? Or is that even out yet?
Oh, no, it's not, right? That's like-
I'm not even sure if it is yet.
No, like that was big news, and then it wasn't. There's so much stuff now.
Oh, Lord knows more about Dreams, I guess.
Oh, does she?
Fully fledged game engine for.
So
you don't actually.
so
play
it's
it,
not an actual game. It's just
You point it to the PS4 then.
that's crazy. It's cool. I love that idea. I was gonna try to not rough this out, but cooler heads prevailed. Alright. So the nose is gonna arc a little bit. I'm gonna have to rough the rest out though, I don't think. Do we have the Stranger Things played on this?
Is it?
Yeah. This is not our song, everyone.
Oh, here, go back to the. Here, let me see it quick.
Yeah.
Turn that off. It should just be playing just the.
We love it. You know, it's kids. Yeah.
It should be just playing this. Well, let's pause. Oh, it stopped doing.
Oh, it's not.
No, I don't know why it stopped repeating. You're more than welcome to start doing better. There we go. I don't know why. Oh, maybe you hit
I might have hit
enter
something.
on there probably.
I did hit enter at one point.
Maybe that got rid of it.
I just threw my seltzer on the computer tower. What's the problem here? Oh boy.
It's a game, but a very sandbox. You can compose music, sculpt.
Where am I? I lost everyone's. Oh, okay. And Mootsie is here.
It's a Mootsie.
That sounds cool.
Those things sound cool to me, but then I'm like, I feel like if I get it, I'd like mess around with it for an hour, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have time for
Well,
that.
let's hope people give more attention to blood.
Start to get into. Like, I can tell her she's already just wants to build things in Lego World and just sit there for days.
It's sort of like when you think of, like, that's what Legos, the tangible Legos did too. Like it's just weird that it's out in digital world now.
Well, I mean,
Like Minecraft is digital Legos when you think about it, you know. It's like you could be as creative as you want with it, and you could spend hours on it. Use the right brush. No, but like that's all Ellie will know now, you know, like that'll be her
She
Legos.
used some real Legos. She liked it for a long
No,
time.
I'm sure she does, but you know, that's just the world they're gonna know. Very different. It's crazy what 30, 40 years will do. Yeah, I haven't even drawn on this. Cintiq Jr.
Oh, do you guys
We got it. And I got my passport. That stuff all worked. I hope I don't know.
Junior.
I hope
wanna
I'm
see
in a
it.
position where I won't have to turn that thing on during
It's
vacation.
in a box and stuff.
You could try it. You had to,
Yeah,
it was cool.
Did you guys pull it out and like look
No,
at it?
Bob set it up so the flash is on it, and yeah, it's ready for me to work late into the night on my break. Do you think 2D will ever make a comeback in film? I think so. I think stuff like, you know, what's interesting about 3D I find is that they're kind of using 2D elements. Oh, that thing. Yeah, look at this little. Ooh, this is kind of hardy.
it's heavy, right?
It's like twice an iPad.
But it's, what's weird
Except
is
you
it's
could
like-
use this.
What's weird is
Yeah, it's a
that you
little,
wish it was more. I wish they kept.
it's like
it more
almost kept
square.
the same proportions.
It's such a wide. Just nobody draws wide.
But I do think 2D will make a comeback. It's always sort of been, since 3D, it's been on the fringe a little bit. But then you see something like Into the Spider-Verse, and it's like, they tried to make that look 2D, even by taking frames out. So I don't think it's for lack of people wanting to see what makes 2D interesting. But and we were talking about this before. We're living in a culture now of like revisionist culture where 3D is easier to probably. I'm gonna sound super stupid for a second, but like I think it's gonna a little easier to say well, this character's model, it's rigged. Can we try him walking across the room this way, rather than if someone animated that traditionally. To you know, that revision's a little different, and it could take a lot longer, and then yeah, you know, render times and stuff. But I think there was a lot of that, and you know, the reason I think that is when we watched that was it Life of Pi, the thing that got
Yes.
that ruined that 25-year company. It was Life of Pi was a documentary about Rhythm and Hue, I think
That
it
was
was
the
called.
name of the
Yeah.
documentary or something.
Okay, yeah, so there was this company that was around for 25 years, did all these visual effects, and then they got awarded, and I air quote that, Life of Pi. Hey, Casey, how you doing? And there was so many just changes to the movie just because they could now with the technology caught up to whatever the director felt like saying, including it's like, well, maybe the rain should go this direction. Like, can you imagine doing that? And it ended up bankrupting this company that's been around for ages. So I think there's a lot of that going on now, and I think the people who are in charge of making films look at that kind of side of things and say, hey, 3D is easier to change when, you know, when I step in and say something, it'll be a little easier to change. So I think that's what's holding back 2D a little bit, because changing something at its very core is a lot different than just changing an angle of a camera, maybe. I'm gonna get a lot of flack from 3D artists.
Well, changing the camera angle is a lot different in 3D than it is in 2D.
Absolutely. Also, if someone's a 3D artist here, feel free to chime in. But like, if you animate something and then it's fully animated, then you change something to the rig, like you change like the character's something on its shirt, it just applies it to the rest of the animation. You don't have to go in and do that again, right? I mean, I'm just thinking like a.
Yeah, no, like certain. I'm sure.
Okay, she can vouch, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. I'm gonna like, oh man, I'm gonna get a lot of heat.
She was asking about the Cintiq.
Oh, the Cintiq, what is it?
It runs Windows 10.
Yeah, oh, it's Windows 10. We have Windows 7 on this thing though. So, if you want to come back to a time of when did Windows 7 come out? Is that 2004? Cody, when did it come out? No, Cody's busy doing work.
2009.
What?
Wait, I mean, that is a long time.
That's
Yeah.
9. That's 10 years ago.
I
But
thought Windows 10 was going to be like
Yeah. XP was 2001.
oh, XP, those were the days. That's when things worked.
Were the days.
I remember when things were.
Not the Vista.
Not the Vista.
Not the Vista days.
Is that the one that like no one used?
That's the worst one.
that
Vista.
was my favorite one.
Get out of here.
All right, so let's clean up that. Then we got our little escape animation too, which we can break up the sprite and allocate it a little differently. It's much easier to reuse elements of 3D even. Yeah, and I think that and to be honest, if I was a studio executive, I would look into that. The easier the change, the more likely I think people are gonna use it.
Why does it need to change?
That is my biggest pet peeve. Is I don't. If you plan it right, you're trying to minimize change. When you sign off on the story, don't you just want it?
Documentary. What was that one about? Zootopia?
Oh my god, that.
How much they changed that?
Yeah, that was
That
crazy.
got,
To me.
that feel like a movie they got messed with big time.
I know it got a lot of good reviews, but it did feel like someone stepped in right in the middle and just changed. Like it felt like two different movies to me.
The Wreck-It Ralph 2 had that same
Yeah,
exact feeling.
yeah, just like yeah, someone
something's not right here.
someone stepped in after production and said, you know, what would be cool. You know what's you know that phrase? You know, what would be cool. Has it ever been cool when someone said the rest of that sentence? You know, it'd be cool, and you're like, oh no. Here we
It's the
go.
same type of thing. It was like, I deserve respect.
No, that's the same thing. It's just like, no, if you'd get it, if it was cool, it would be there already. It's no, but then we watched that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they explained that's what happened, right?
No, the
Like
producer walked
so,
into
a
the
producer came in,
walked
right?
into the screening of the movie for the first time in it was like a year and a half was the first time he saw it, and then
It was
he
like
said,
the
"This is-
animatic
we
was
have to
finished
change
and all
it."
that.
No,
Yeah.
it was like
Or
the
like
movie
some of
was
the
finished,
rendering.
and he
Yeah.
saw it, and he was like, "Let's."
That's well. There's a
That
certain
movie,
point
but
where you can't.
how did you not see the animatic? How did you not see story? But you didn't read the script. You didn't see any of this.
But
Now you're gonna.
there is a point where you really do have to stop calling yourself producer. Then, like, you can't. That's not. You're tasked with producing something by your very namesake.
You're the destroyer of art.
It's just imagine walking in and just putting your feet on the desk and saying, "Hey, change this whole movie." And then, once he said that, he was like, "All right, later." It's.
Oh, yeah, no, I gotta go work on another.
Oh wait, I'm missing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's much. Yeah, I recently learned a puppet warp in. I was about to say PlayStation in Photoshop. Has anyone tried that? You've tried that, right? Right, Bob? Puppet warp?
No, I've never really used that. I used it in After Effects. It does
Oh,
the same
okay.
thing.
And then what does that do? Is it sort of like make that mesh so you can kind of?
I
fake
don't know about
3D?
if it's probably very similar to what is in After Effects. I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. we'll have the... I'm gonna have the eyebrows kind of buckle down here. Notice, sir, you really do have to stop calling yourself a producer if that's what you were doing.
There was a documentary about, we watched that one too, this thing. About
But he, what did he do? He did something.
he was getting so frustrated. It was that, what was the movie, Kronk? What was that one, the Disney movie with
Was it?
Kronk?
I thought.
The
Oh.
llama one.
Yeah, the Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, they completely...
They changed that. It was like supposed to be about a sun god.
Too, didn't they?
Yeah, cool. Gosh, how do you? Oh, another show. Thank you for subscribing. Hello there. All right, that's new, right? Kerbal 7 or Kerbal Z. No, it just that's crazy. It's crazy that there's documentation of it too. Like these people just willingly like say it's on camera. We had phone calls lately that people are just what they're admitting to us on the phone call is outrageous.
I mean, one was about having a deadline, and then told us that they can't talk for this week because they have off for the rest of the week.
That was my favorite. I had two favorite phone calls this week, and the other one was, yeah, that was my.
And then someone outright admitted they didn't want to do their job.
One person that I won't even say if it's, I won't even get into it, but they said, if I do that this week, I'm gonna have to do it next week, and I don't want to do that. And which, you know, Bob and I are just trying to get this thing done for you guys. Like, we're just trying to help you a little bit here. Oh, man. I just couldn't believe he or she brought that up. That's just insane to me. I just would never say it.
I loved it. At some point today, I was dealing with the fact that I'm going to be working on Monday while a hurricane might be starting, and then I got an email saying my client's entire company was going to be closed. Okay, but but that doesn't mean I can stop.
It's so funny when irony, like the death of irony is it happened a couple of years ago. But it's just the irony of it all. No, with those two phone calls, that blew my mind though. Let's see here. All right, so when we get this one done, I think we can color this, and I can even add the dirt coming out here. So, snaps, dirt. We could probably even lose that a little faster. I might... that's okay. Let's see if we add the dirt coming out here, if that helps. Oh yeah, that's fun. Could probably come out a little earlier even. Yeah, that's better. Alright, let's color this. Alright, so we got appear and disappear now. Let's see, we got some time. Oh yeah, and I always invite anyone who has any animation questions around this time, and it doesn't have to pertain to Blood. If you guys have a question on how we at the studio might approach an animation technique or something you guys might be having a hard time with, or just curious how we would do it, you know, let us know in the comments here, and we'll try to address it. And I always preface this by saying it's not that it's the right way, or we might not be the right way, but if you're curious. Get the nose in there. Smear frames, you gotta love them. Alright. Color this dirt. If I do that this week, I would just love if we said something like that. If I animate that this week, you're gonna want us to animate every episode.
This week I'm gonna mow it every day.
It's crazy. Yeah, I'd love to see their garden. What do you mean I had to weed this? Cool. Alright, so let's see here. Now we're gonna have to work on, because I'm really against cheap kills in games. Like when you walk around a corner and something falls on you the first time you're playing. I always want at least an indicator. So we're gonna need something here to kind of show that he's about to pop out. Because if this was the first frame, forget about it. You'd just get hurt too easily. So I'm thinking maybe we do like a little dirt mound with eyes, like eyes peering out, or is it just a dirt mound? Maybe that bounces up and down. And then maybe that can just sort of move around, right? Would that look right? Like if it just like it.
Because it would be more like a mole, like a lump, and a trail behind it.
I'm thinking like. Well, I'll do an ease and ease out of like a little dirt.
Move around like that's not gonna move around.
No, I think once he's stationary, he's stationary. Like.
But I wouldn't give it too much.
But like if it was like less than Becky, just like a little kind of thing bouncing around, and then. Here,
like it follows her, like it's following you almost,
or like you just know where he is underground. And I'll here. Let me try something real quick. Let's experiment here. Here, I'm gonna just try something. This might not work. I'm gonna call this Rat King Dirt Mound.
That's my rap.
That's Cody's. Cody's DJ Dirt Mound. Okay, so like if we do something like even like that size or something, you know, or maybe I'll make it circular. I'm still curious about the way you warp the grass in Kung Fu Kickball. Oh, okay. That's that looked like it wasn't very complicated. Let me open that up for you, for Lauren. Where is Kung Fu Kickball? Kung Fu Kickball animation. I'm guessing it's unfinished. Okay, so let's get to that scene. Okay, so I is this the scene you're talking about, Lauren, where they're kind of going up this hill? Let's get rid of all the characters here. Yes, okay. Let me, where the heck is this? Okay, so...
I was waiting for what you were going to call her there.
God, how many layers did...
God.
God.
Yeah, that was
Who
fun.
set up
That
this
was
project?
That was fun exporting that.
They just made this. Okay, so what I did was I broke it in half. So you can see here that there's just half of that. And then I just swapped out. So we'll break down the half first. So I broke it all, but
makes me dizzy watching.
What I did first was I found a point of perspective here, so I made 3 sort of circles here. Like, so there's one circle here that follows the curvature of that. Then I made a bigger one, like 110 or something. And so on and so forth. So I'm just following the curvature a little bit there. So you kind of get the point there. So I got these and I made those guide layers. And I believe I showed you that the other day. What a guide layer does is make a curve where if you motion tween it, and you can see it kind of pops and this is all over the place. So the first thing I did was make this symbol right here. Now, all I did was shimmer this. And you've seen me shimmer before, it's just sort of traced back. And then I motion tweened the textures to kind of follow it going down. So you can see, like this texture here that I'm zooming in on. You can see the next frame it's moving down and following the curvature by the same principles that I used with the guide layer. So it's all going the same speed. So I'm keeping those in mind. And then we just made symbols like that. See the tree here. The tree I'm just increasing in size while curving. Same with that. Same speed. And then I did the same exact thing with like this little shrub. Just increase the size while I'm on a curvature here.
I don't know if Casey was here to see the guide layer.
Oh, okay, I can show you
We
what a
just put
guide layer
that
does.
one tree on it, the guide layer.
Yeah, I could show you something like if I take this. Let me just take this tree. So a guide layer would be if I motion tween something here to there.
You have to rotate. Yeah, you can rotate the symbol.
Oh yeah, you rotate it, and you can even orient a path. So if you're making like if I'll show you what orient a path means too. So that's just a straight line. This point to this point, the quickest way you can make it. If you hit a guide layer, which is this, in MX it's this kind of plus and negative sign here. You go to the orientation point, and then you see how it's following the path now. That won't show up when you render it either. Now, if I wanted to rotate it, I just go like that, and it'll rotate for you. So it's sort of just that, and then multiply it. Now, if I wanted to make something like, let's say, a fly, bugs work great with this. So I'm just going to make a quick little bug here. Okay, so I'll make that a symbol. So I got this fly buzzing here, right? So we got a fly going here. Now, you know how flies are like circuitous. They kind of whiz all over the place. So I could do something like this, where I want the fly to fly anywhere crazy where I want. So we'll end up here. So I'll add a guide layer here. I'll use the smooth tool, because that makes this line a lot crazier. Kind of draw it on there. And put on the guide layer. Then I ended up over here. Okay, so now if I motion tween that, he's flying all over the place. Now when I orient a path, that's what's cool about it. You can't even see the wings, but if you orient a path, which is if you go into action, Not action, sorry, properties. How do you get it
I
bigger?
think I know what that is. I never used that one.
I just have to get the properties bigger for a second. Where? Oh boy. How did I even move this out?
You put that down, I think, right?
Now, how do you get it big again? Oh, there it is. Okay, so you see how there's rotate, and then if I click orient to path right here, this little button down here, now it's going to follow the contours. So now you can see he's sort of buzzing
Oh, I didn't know. That's cool.
around. So it's whatever. Now you could do that by rotating it too, but this is a little easier to do it that way. So now you kind of got to fly there, and then you can just mess with the speed and ease in, ease out anytime you want. So. And I did Fireflies in Blood the very same way. It's like parenting. Holy heck! What am I miss? How did the symbols follow the guy layer? You said you had to increase the size. Yes, you increased the size of it. So it was just a matter of perspective. Like I started at 90% and I moved it to 110%, and then I motion tweened it evenly. I didn't want it to ease in, ease out. So, yeah, so that's sort of a basic layer of guide stuff. And guides are important if you're looking to do arcs for sure. And that's all this is. Now, I broke this up too, like you see how I have a lot of keyframes. That was all motion tweened at one point. But when you motion tween, it's going to loop at frame the 2-second mark. So I had to keyframe all of them out and lose the last frame so it loops evenly, and the result being this, where you kind of get this Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember that level in Sonic the Hedgehog when you get the emeralds? And then the rest of it, like I added these wind marks. And that's just following. I just had the same circles and I just sort of traced it all over there. So it looks like a little bit of an action line. And I think we added some other stuff in the back. Oh yeah. And we got these hills in the back. Now these hills are a little slower because it's still in perspective. It's just it's a background element, so it goes a little slower. Same with these guys. They're just on a different arc. The closer to the middle, the less of the arc. And all done in Flash. It wasn't a real warp tool or anything, so. Ooh, that's a beast of a file. Would it be foolish to animate without programming tools? Are you handicapping yourself? I don't think so. No, I think animating with you'll learn more if you use less tools. Almost, I think. Tools are there to enhance and make things quicker, but I don't think you necessarily need it. Yeah, that was a fun shot. We channeled our OKKO days back in that one. So let's see if we're doing. So maybe a little, almost like a circle for the dirt path. Trying to think here what would be fun to kind of move around. Okay, that might even need to be a little smaller. Yeah, I love that project. I think we might actually have the opportunity to animate a little more for the game once he gets ready for release. We were in talks with him.
For some reason, I thought you were talking about OKKO first.
No, I did mention that, but that was we used a lot of our OKKO when we worked on that game. We channeled a lot of that into Kung Fu Kickball. It's neat how you pulled that off, but how did you come up with the high level? We started with I can show. Do we have the animatic? I'll show you the animatic.
Oh, because you were gonna go straight up, right?
We were going to go straight up, and then we were like, let's not do that. Is there storyboards? So you can see we storyboarded this. We started May 1st and ended May 7th. So it wasn't even a long thing, no. I'll show you the animatic here. You can see a guide layer there. So we try to do animatics as clean as we can, just so the client gets no surprises. Hasn't worked yet, but I'll hold out hope. So you see what I had here is just going to be a straight thing, and you can see the ninja character, this girl, kind of runs around it. And it was looking more like, kind of like a totem pole than any sort of thing like a ground. And my idea was because we reached the top here, and then it's sort of the top of this bell tower here. And it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel anything organic. It was more like a building. So we wanted to make it feel like they're kind of running up a hill at the whole time. And the way to do that is keep the same perspective lines and just animate everything towards the camera. But you can see all the animation is sort of there. And then from there you just build on the background and then you're done. It's, you can look at her design here.
Like
I changed it so much. And I like doing animatics kind of clean like that and then just building on it, because once the animatics is the cerebral part where it's like really racking your brain to get everything right, and then after that's done you just let's worry about backgrounds, now let's worry about animation, and then just replace it. And it's a little less mentally taxing than if we had a bunch of papers spread around here with cork boards and it's like let's change this shot over here. It's like no, just get it. What's our motto? Keep it. Oh, there's kids who watch this, yeah. So but it has a curse in it. It's a version of keep it simple, stupid. We just changed the last few words. SH. Yeah, just and then it's done. You know, we did that in 3 weeks, and now it's in his game. And now he's publishing the game, and it's just like, that's animation. We could all do that. Something like, just make it look a little like a mound, like he...
I was wondering if it should come up quick first, and then suction
like
in, like something suctions in, and then he comes.
Like kind of like a ant mound almost. Like an ant mound, then
sucks in.
Like you see a hole in it almost.
Yeah.
Like. So. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that could look pretty cool, I think.
So you know it's coming, and then like you would roll away.
Or I was, the way you know, like in the old Bugs Bunny cartoons when you see them just running around like it was a mole on the ground.
No,
I don't know how to do it. I was gonna try to
move.
Well, I was gonna try whether they could program it or not. It's a whole different story. If only we had the programmers. But I'm gonna try something
like a debris trail. They would have to.
Yeah, like it would like where like it would almost be like how you set up the puddles. I think though, like in Voltron, like wherever that character walks, a little debris pile would like kind of like.
Yeah.
We live to serve you.
I get real frustrated with technology. You and me both, Casey. I think because I'm trying to learn Photoshop. I never even heard of OBS. Aspertite, I know. Flash. Flash is an easy program. If I can learn it, I feel like a lot of people can. One thing breaks in a kicking the table. It's shush head, yeah. Yeah. It's close to shush head.
Flash. It's easy and...
I feel, are you just trying to learn animation, Casey, or what do you just want to be kind of a jack of all trades kind of guy, or because Flash, there's not a lot of styles that we encounter that we couldn't pull off in even the older Flashes. What do you use to stream these Twitches? Is that
OBS.
that's
OBS, yeah.
You wouldn't know that.
I don't know. If Bob wasn't here, I'd be talking into a turned off microphone with the computer off. Like, why is no one talking to me? It's getting so bad that my dad has more of a grasp on it, and anyone who knows my dad he wasn't the.
Yeah,
No, my dad.
That's funny.
It felt like I thought someone took my dad's phone because he sent me an emoji the other day, and I'm like, this can't be my dad.
My dad loves emojis. It's really
Yeah, my parents really like them.
What emoji?
Yeah, they use them a lot. I'm like, this is strange.
That's what I feel like with the whole world's kind of
It does feel a little weird. I'm gonna just do an ease and ease out and see if this works. So this is sort of like a. You remember the Cody? You'll know the name of this, but were they called gumdrops in the first Zelda? The little like. They're kind of like. We called them meeps in the other game.
I know what you're talking about.
I thought they were called something weird like
they had.
gumdrops. I could be off. What's that?
That APG had they were calling things like with the snake.
Well, it was like
ropes
one
or
was called
something,
the
or-
snake was called a rope. It was like something terribly lost in translation. I still, man, when I still see that first Zelda screen with the waterfall, it's like that instantly transports me back to my childhood, though. I love that screen.
Oh, you're talking about? They call them gels.
Gels, okay.
Yeah, GEL.
If I paint, then I'm not
And then-
drawing or learning animation. So, do you paint like on a canvas, Casey, or are you talking digital paint? Not that both are amazing. You're animating my cats. Can food. Mostly perfect. I remember, Casey. You should. When do you stream a lot, right, Casey? You should.
I don't know if Corey did like on speed painting things.
He did. You do some really incredible painting stuff. Do you Twitch a lot?
You Twitch.
Do you Twitch?
Bro.
Do you even Twitch, bro? God. Trying to retire from streaming, too taxing. I hear you about that. Like yesterday when we couldn't do it, I felt this unnecessary anxiety. I do like it though. I there's something I find very compelling about it. Like it I wanted to do it because it scared me a little too when I was like this it's probably the right thing to do. Get nothing done for talking than doing art. Well, I do that too. No, I tell you, it's when we first started this, it was crazy. We were like, no one's gonna who cares what we have to say. And some people probably still feel that way, but I personally like it. It's the highlight of my week for sure. I want to do it more. I want to do, I'm thinking like one Saturday or something, just when everyone is off, and do it for my house. But then Bob would have to come and set that up in the sunroom.
Yeah,
Not gonna happen.
You can always drive to the office. It's not
I
like
could
it's
do
far.
that. Well, we might not be changing offices soon if to across the street from the world famous. Instead of a diner, we'll be on top of a sneaker shop. But don't worry, it's called Sneaker Aquarium, so I think they have it all
Oh,
together.
now it's
What's it called now?
I think they use it as like a
Like a
voting or whatever.
oh, it's like a voting registration thing.
Or what the heck is it? It's just like a democratic.
Oh yeah, it's a
place there.
Democratic committee now. Well, we'll pick another one too if we need to. All right. So I'm gonna try something a little experimental here. See if Andrew and Cody could get it. It might look horrible too. Tin Heart, we should do a weekend in September or October. Yeah, we should. I want people to know, Greg. Cody, should we do one from Spain?
We should go live like
It'll be on
from Spain.
when we go up and talk.
I wonder if they stream
I don't
any of
know.
their stuff.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be able to see. That's what I'm
You want to see?
if we'll be able to see. I'm sure they do something.
We should do something live from Nagfest too. We'll have the whole crew together. The whole crew's never together, and it upsets me.
That
was the last time we were all together, right? Yeah, that's crazy. What are we doing? What are we doing this for then? Okay, so the idea is. So maybe it needs out like that. Okay. I hope that just looks like dirt. Maybe this might look like one of the S's and keep it simple. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now? Let me grab. Just make something here. Looks like a pile of something. Modify, duplicate symbol, dirt, mound, disappear.
I used it as an adjective and a verb or something.
Oh, you use that curse as a noun, a verb, and adjective in one rant too. It's so funny. Just go to work and stream from Starbucks. I wish we had a coffee shop in this town. We're right above a culinary school too, but they are closed during the summer, so we can't even eat all the pastries we want. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is sort of start with the pile of. Like that. So let's see here. I think I'm using the wrong brush. Nope. Right. Okay, so what's gonna happen here? So I'm gonna have this start to disappear right away. I'll make it. I'm gonna try for 13 frames, see if it even works. Okay, so it's gonna disappear into nothing. So the first frame we'll do is just slowly starting to disappear here. So we're gonna change it into kind of 3 little clumps here. Let's go. So just, logistically this doesn't make any sense, but I'm just trying to, I'm working on a theory while I'm animating here. And then it just disappears to nothing.
So you're thinking something
Like,
that like
once, it might look completely heinous, so I don't know. I'm just thinking of like how you can kind of see where he is once he goes under. But then that would change a lot of things too, I'm thinking, because once he goes under, then you would have to see this little dirt thing immediately and watch it move. But I'm kind of thinking out loud here while this.
yeah, it's like whether or not you want to do like just something that stays there or something that moves when he moves? Like, because technically he should be moving.
Yeah, no,
around, I
like he's
guess.
burrowing under the ground, so like technically it should, but you don't want a straight path of dirt the whole time because that would get really distracting. So you kind of want it to leave, like this is sort of like a smoke from an exhaust almost. Like it just disappears, but it can kind of show like where he's been.
Yeah, it's like maybe we can play with like
Some sort of particle system.
maybe you could do something that like when he goes under, it like
I was thinking like do it with a
It kinda,
shadow
like-
almost, or maybe just have an icon over it even.
Maybe-
I don't know if it'll look
or maybe
good.
we could do like it depends on how much we want it to be like a mystery.
Yeah,
where
no,
it
sometimes,
is.
but yeah, it could just be he, like, there is that sandworm in Zelda where you don't know where he is, and then you see something kind of boiling up underground, and then you know he's going to show up there, but...
Mhm.
Alright, so we're going to... Gotta try something daring soon. This could have been a waste of time.
Would be very different
For
from
everyone.
anything else this week.
So it fits with the theme of the week. I'd argue August was a complete wash.
Just the whole
I'm
summer.
ready for September. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so we'll have it fade out here, and we'll keep it up 1 second. So, okay, so we got this. So I'm gonna bring this and this into a different file here. File new. And let's play around with this thing. Okay, so this is the size of the rat mound in there. Gonna do this as test. Rat test. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, keep that there. So I'm gonna have move from there to here. Play with the speed a little bit. That's gonna be too fast. Yeah, that could work. So say he moves that slow, which wouldn't make for a very fun game, but okay, then what I want to do...
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of it's like they from like what am I thinking of? Peanuts.
Yeah,
Like,
like
from the-
Pigpen
one of
or
the, like,
whatever.
I would just remember the Halloween one, and he's going around as a ghost, and he's like, or actually no, I'm thinking of Garfield actually in my head. It's like that old like
That could work.
little bounce like walk.
Garfield. What in Garfield are you?
No, it's like an animation they used to use a lot in Garfield, where he would try to go back to bed, and he'd walk like all wrapped up in his blanket.
So it'd be something like that. It kind of works.
Looks like
something.
something little digitally all of a sudden.
It does look real digital.
It's-
No, it's like I would have to have a directional pull on this almost.
Yes. No, and it almost should be
Which
like
I
a
could
ball.
do
It's
in,
almost like a ball with a trail. Or
Yeah, like if I did it like if this was which I could do, that's not hard, but if it was a little like that kind of like directional, you know, like that. Oh, that doesn't look any better, but you know what I mean? Like it'd be like kind of like scooting along like that. That wouldn't be hard for me.
I wonder if it's almost like if you do the same exact thing you're doing except for without the big mound, like you do a couple of
guess.
them, like when he goes under and like he goes in a direction,
invisible
it kind of
mound.
leaves a little trail,
We
just like for a little bit to give you kind of
Yeah,
like
I
an
know what you
indication,
mean.
like,
Like
oh,
it just like trails off and then
It
disappears.
could be more like.
and then when he, or we could make it so when he ends up where he goes, it kind of like makes a different effect. So like now he's over there, so it's like more like keeping your eyes peeled. But
like where if she's standing in a spot and it comes at like it's just a thing that comes at her quick like tremor, you know, like
It could just be
see,
like
a,
yeah.
like a swoosh and then it comes up like that's your only warning. So it's pretty fast.
that's a good question. How did Tremors do it? That's what we need to learn.
Someone get Kevin Bacon on the line.
God, what was the guy?
Oh, the guy from Family Ties.
Like Tremors 5. It's like the same guys in the movie.
Yeah, it's just
like the
these sandworms
Oh,
are
it's
after that dude.
Yeah, it was the dad from Family Ties. Like was still in it or something.
Tremors 5, not a bad movie.
You know what? Didn't they like make a new one that was like after a long time out?
You know what? No, it's not getting its due. Tremors 4.
God, I just remember like my friend at work, he would watch all these shitty horror films and be like, this one's not a bad movie. And I was like, I just can't trust your judgment anymore. He would just come back from lunch with movie. What was the one that it's like the rats are here, the werewolves are coming or something?
Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
I had a friend growing up. His dad,
That's
like,
something. It's getting
once he got home from work, he would just
Yeah,
sit on his like recliner and watch a movie.
like if we just had a directional thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it just comes out, like it should just be such a fast thing, like you don't have too much time to get away from it.
Like it should just be like something that's almost like
8 directions or something.
like goes like that.
Yes. And leaves like a trail that dissipates off.
Like that, and then ends up there. So it goes like that almost, you know. Yeah, then it can just hover there.
And
Yeah.
then it just comes out, you know, like so you don't have to
No,
touch
then
on
it just goes from that to the attack, like, and then I knew it hover for a little bit, and then go.
Ugh.
Big boy. Yeah, I think that'll look cool actually, like if you go like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Now setting that up in the sprite will be interesting because
Like
we won't have directional, so it just gets longer in the sprite,
Exactly.
and we'd have to
It's kinda like how
we'd have to
that-
dictate the speed.
That's how like the roll was the most annoying thing about the trial.
So it'd get longer, and then so we'd have an inflection point almost too, where we do just like a 3-frame shimmer of it,
It
like,
could do.
so it could keep going fast.
Like you could jump out quick, dive under. You know,
We could do that
like
too.
He jumps out, like so you know he's coming, and then that comes out
Mm-hmm.
like a real fast.
Yeah. Food for thought. Could be fun though.
So it feels like a swinging motion.
I like it. I like that idea more than this.
Neat.
More than the dirt curtain.
That's a dirt shark. Dirt server.
The dirt server. All right. Well, we'll keep that just for on a reminder what not to use.
For our Twitter.
That's a Twitter. All right. So what do we have? We have about 6 minutes left. Does anyone wanna? What can we work on here? Anyone have any questions? Oh, I can start working on the ease and ease out too. This is a perfect example of the type of problem solving the game animation more. So
Yeah,
the
TV animation. It's
oh,
like,
TV. No,
we
there's
need more
there's
I want you to change.
we need to-
this to a girl now.
there'd be a lot more discussion.
Or the Nickelodeon ones.
There'd be
How hard
meetings.
would it be to make this a girl now?
But
Let me just
I
hit
wish that wasn't a
F7
joke.
does.
Yeah, I think it's F11 though that
think
changes
F11
the
just changes this to a girl.
it swaps the gender of all your symbols if you're feeling so. You have that too. Yeah, I feel like everyone has that. So I'll do an ease and ease out for that. I'm even figuring out how technically. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, what's easy for me and Bob are just like we just did that and roughed it out. And it's like now have Cody and Andrew start programming that. I'm sure we just opened a can of worms on them. Cody, what do you think? Let me ask Andrew the real program. Hey, here.
I'm gonna go walk into a hurricane now.
There. Category 5. All right. So, well, we have 4 minutes. I can start laying this out. So I made this a symbol. This is going to be the high point of it. So what I'll do is usually go to frame 13. And this is just a simple ease in, ease out. I'll start working on that. And it's the same principles as all the idols. I kind of start at the high point and kind of ease in, ease out to a low point. Just it kind of replicates almost like when a character is breathing too, a little bit. So it makes everything feel a lot more alive, I find. So what I could do is sort of furrow the eyebrows down. Keep the eyes crossed so he's looking kind of mean. Alright. Could almost make the mouth smaller. Not that low though. Alright. Then what I'll do is kind of play with the volume of the dirt too to make that look a little more alive. In my experience, game animation jobs tend to be more mocap than frame-by-frame animation. Oh, motion capture. Yeah, I don't know how they do like that seems crazy to me. Like the amount of labor that has to go into something that takes motion capture into 3D is it. I feel like I have a better grasp on like brain surgery than 3D. You know, because I can. It's like, oh, you just take a scalpel and open it up, but I do not know how 3D games work. Like how just the AI that goes into the characters when you're even dealing with Z space and stuff. It's crazy. And then you get like. I always bring up Last of Us as the best game I've ever played, but still is. But like just the like you could take one fight in that game and you could go in any direction, and how many like computations are in that? It's insane to me. Yeah, we're about to close up shop too, Mr. Fox. So let's do the little bit of the promo stuff. It's always bloodgame.com. That gets you guys a little sneak peek at what it's like going on in our brains a little bit. We're responsive on Twitter and Instagram, sometimes Facebook. Sometimes people like our Facebook stuff. Other times we're not paying for it. What else? We got the Spain trip coming up, which is sponsored by 3D Wire. And if you guys are in there, or if we get to even show it on television or something, we'll give you all that information. And anything else, Bob? Next week you're going to be doing... You want to hop on and do some backgrounds, Friday? Yeah. All right, so next week I'm off, but Bob's going to be gracing you with his backgrounds and all that textured goodness. So if you guys haven't seen any of that, you should really take a look. It's all done in Flash. Really has a painterly look. I think you guys would really enjoy that. We have to get Tin Heart Interactive talking and Andrew talking, but let's close it off. And I hope you guys have a great long weekend, those of you who get Monday off. Yeah, I forgot about Labor Day. So, well, enjoy that, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.